Hello everyone, welcome to the Beer Garden. This time along with Steve, Joe and myself, we are going to talk about the Sunday race card at Charene. Joshua is not here today, but we will also include his selections in our show. So first of all, talking about the weather in Hong Kong, it has been raining in this recent week, but I just checked the weather reports. It will be a sunny day on Sunday at Shatin. So hopefully we can bring you some winner. As usual, we are going to talk about our selections in the treble, which will be race 8 to race 10, and then followed by our best bet and value bet. So let's talk about the first leg of the treble. It will be race 8. It is quite a tough card, a class 3 over a mile. Joe, who is your selection in race 8?
I went with number 8 and trusted with Luke Ferraris. He's draw number 1. He actually hasn't had a win since last year, back in September, but he's still been running okay. He got second in his penultimate race uh, at a really wide barrier, barrier 12, and he's been at a lot of long prices like $42, and that's the race that he got second. Uh, his last race against SJ Torbian was 13. $101. So he's been around there. He's been sticking around the class threes for a while. So after that run, which was over 1600, where he got second, and then he went to a 1800-meter race, his last race. I, I, I think that the 1600 one is the one that was more eye-catching to me because he was drawn 12 and now he's drawn one. So I think he does have a decent chance at least along the win and place line, so probably a little bit each way. But he does like to motor home when he's far back, so I'm gonna go with a trusted number 8 with Luke Ferraris.
Yes, I agree. Number 8 and Trustus this time getting the good draw. I think he can take advantage of getting the rail for the whole trip. Steve, what about you? Who do you like in race 8?
Well, I went for number 7, Casa Papa. When I looked at races 8, 9, and 10, my first thoughts was Sweet Encounter, followed by Superb Capitalist, and then Packing Treadmill. That was the
Mhm.
three that I just thought was the obvious three. But then,
Yes.
so many times in Hong Kong racing, you get something that just happens out of the ordinary. Even like for the three Group Two, the triple header recently, where
Mhm.
there was always one where Wellington had excuses, but the three that we thought, only two of them actually prevailed, wasn't it? It was Romantic Warrior and Golden 60. But yes, I just thought that Casa Papa was a nice horse. He was second on his seasonal return. He was unlucky that day. I think he would have beaten Mr. Ascendancy had he had a clear run. And then the next time he had excuses because he had blood in his trachea. And last time, a good seventh. He didn't quite get the run of the race, I don't think. But he's a really beautiful horse, I think, Casa Papa. He's well made. He travels strongly in his races. Hasn't quite delivered yet. But I think perhaps up to this 1600 metres, it might bring out more improvement. And I don't think gate 10 from gate 14 is too bad either. I think Sweet Encounter is interesting. Just lost his unbeaten tag second to Stunning Impact. He was unlucky, I think, and he could well be coming into this race unbeaten in three, but obviously won his first two, then he was second. And I think also the likes of Golden Empire is another nice horse with the excellent Lyle Hewitson on board. But for me, I'll just take a bit of. I could have made this my value bet, to be honest, but I like to go elsewhere. So this is Casa Papa. It's kind of a win slash value bet, but we'll call it the win bet.
Yes, right. So number 7, Casababa for Steve. This time he will be jumping from the wide draw, but over the 1600 meters at Shatin, there is enough time before the first turn. So hopefully he can find a good position after breaking from the wide draw. And for Joshua, his selection here will be number 11, Sweet Encounter. It will also be Joshua's best bet for the day. First time up to the mile, but it is obviously an unexposed horse. So let's see how will he perform. And for my selection, I will go for number 5, Powerful Wings. It has been a long time that he haven't scored a winner, and actually he is a maiden in Hong Kong. But I think that since last season, after putting the blinkers on and racing over this course and distance, he is always finishing close. But this time, I think there is a good chance for him to break the maiden tag in Hong Kong because he will be ridden by Hugh Bowman. I think he should be a very suitable jockey for the horse because he is is expected to be a back marker. And we also see that Hugh Bowman, when he was racing in Australia and also in Hong Kong, he is quite good at riding some lazy horses. So hopefully Powerful Wings with him on board can show some great performance. And actually the horse just had a good barrier trial performance recently. So I think that he is now ready to break the maiden in Hong Kong. So to recap, race 8, Joe goes for number 8 and Trusted. Steve likes number 7, Casa Papa. Joshua's best bet will be number 11, Sweet Encounter, and I will go for number 5, Powerful Wings. So let's jump to the second leg of the treble, race 9 and other class 3, but over a shorter distance, over 1200 meters. Joe, who do you fancy in race 9?
Race number 9, I went with the number 8, another number 8, and then another one that's drawn one, Ariel, with who is it? Keith Yu?
Yes.
Yeah, because they have the names different. I always get the first names confused because they always have it at a different
Yeah,
name.
I understand.
But yeah, so yeah, I went with him. Now he was in the straight race last time on the 12th at Shatin before, and was against Kaiyik Spirit, who won that race at $64. So I think this was his first time. Yeah, this was his first time. He made his Hong Kong debut that day. Now they're gonna step him up to the 1200 meter, which is interesting because if you go back a little bit and look at his UK form, he had like a time where he was just hitting the board or getting. He had 3 wins in a row in the 3-year-old handicaps, and then now he's a 4-year-old now. But I think that with even going down in the trip to from the 1200 or from all those other races, which is around the 1400, 1600, now he goes down to 1200. I think they're trying something a little different with him. He would be my value bet here because I think he's going to be at long odds, especially with Superb Capitalist number 5 having that really strong debut when he raced as a 3-year-old just like a couple weeks ago or a week ago. So I think you could take him on if he becomes the favorite. I do see value with Ariel trying to go up as a 4-year-old this time around. So we'll see. So I went with number 8, Ariel for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Number 8, Ariel for Joe, and it will also be Joe's value bet. I'm quite sure that he will get a huge prize because he was not really good last time, but it is over the straight course. This time over the round course over 1200 meters, and also we are going to have the races over the C course. It is quite a tight track, so the horses from inside draw never underestimate them. And Steve, how about you? Who do you like in race 9?
I went for number 7, Beauty Eternal. Famous last words. I couldn't really see the winner coming from anywhere else, Superb Capitalist or Beauty Eternal. And Superb Capitalist was excellent on debut, and it was also a fantastic time as well. He really won as he liked, and Angus Chung didn't have to get serious on the horse at all. He's gone up £14, but he's a worthy favourite. I just think it's a questionable just the quality of opposition that he beat. It was an all 3-year-old contest. There was some moderate horses in there, and while he's expected to win, he's even better drawn than Beauty Eternal. My selection's in gate 10, but it's a very nice horse. He won by 2 lengths. He beat Regency Bobo on his debut, and he really should be coming into this race unbeaten because he was very, very unlucky behind Science Patch, and poor Zach had all the trouble going. It was like watching some sort of Formula One race, wasn't it? Weaving in between horses, and at the end, he almost just had to pull back on the horse. He just couldn't get there. But it's a very nice horse, and he was 1-2 favourite that day, of course, odds-on favourite. So I think it'll be between those two. And although Beauty Eternal, as I say, is drawn wide, I think it'll be closer than the betting suggests. So for me, Beauty Eternal to upset the unbeaten Superb Capitalist.
Yes, I'm thinking the same, Steve. I think race 9 that will be dominated by 2 horses, including number 7, Beauty Eternal, and he will also be my selection. But Joshua will go for another one, which will be number 5, Supreme Capitalist. This time he will be facing some stronger rivals, but he is obviously improving, so it is going to be an interesting race. And I also go for number 7, Beauty Eternal. I really agree that last time when he was beaten in Hong Kong, all of the racing fans were just keep discussing about it, just thinking that he was a bit unlucky, but he didn't have a clear one in the final furlong. But after he settled, he showed a great turn of foot, so just beaten by a short margin by Science Patch and Good Buddies, while Good Buddies scored a win after for his next start. So I believe it was quite a strong form. So this time I think that he is still young, but we can still give him one more chance. So I will also go for number 7, Beauty Eternal, written by Zach Burton again. So to recap, race 9, Joe's value bet here will be number 8, Ariel. And Steve and myself, I agree with number 7, Beauty Eternal, while Joshua will go for number 5, Supreme Capitalist. And let's move to the last leg of the treble, race 10. It is a class 2 over 1400 meters. It was not an easy race with 14 runners here. Joe, who do you fancy in race 10?
Well, I think it's gonna be. I think the favorite's probably gonna be number 10, Packing Treadmill, because he's been coming up. He won his race first up this season, back in October, and of course it's Zach Pern. But I think the only thing is he's drawn wide. So with that being said, I went with number 4, Cheching Prince with Ruin Maya. Uh, Pretty good efforts of the last 2 races as a top weight on the all weather. Um, but I think with the all-weather run transitioning from the turf to dirt or the dirt to turf, um, I think he'll run a good race. He won those. He has the ability. He won the last race, and then the other race before that he was second. But it is a really tough field. But you have Buddies, who I think was a Group 3 winner, also in this race. Beauty Live, I know a lot of people have been going for. Find My Love is coming up in this race as well. But Chiching Prince won as a top weight. He's won on all weather. He's won on turf. He's a very dynamic horse, and he's very lightly raced. So we'll race like about a couple times every 2 months. So um, this is probably more tougher than it looks. But I think I like that he does have the dirt experience, and he's coming into this race with a win under his belt. So he'll come from far back too, which is another one I'm picking on. Like I think that there's a trend because I usually pick something that's on the speed, and then it's not. It's going to be the back markers. So I'm going to take all the back markers this time. I'm going to take Chaching Prince.
Yeah, right. Number 6, Chen Prince. He is quite a good all-weather horse, but he is also have some good ability over the turf this time. Very important. He gets the good draw because I think most of the main threats in race 10 they were breaking from the wide draw. Steve, who do you like in race 10?
I went to number 10, Packing Treadmill, and there's always sometimes a surprise in these races, but it's hard to get away from the horse. He's 4 from 6, four wins from 6 runs. The £7 rise looks fair. A good run last time, and he won in his seasonal debut with Super Fortune back in second. And for the 5th consecutive race, he gets a double-digit barrier. When you get bad luck in draws, it seems to just stay with you, but he still seems to overcome them and win well. And I think despite his double-digit barrier this time, I think he looks equal to the task. And I think the trouble was, if I wasn't picking him, I couldn't really decide who else would win. He just is such a solid horse. Yeah. I thought Beauty Live, he's a 4-time winner last season, but to me, he didn't show enough. He hasn't shown quite enough in his trials. And I also thought that Jumbo Fortune, he ran well over course and distance on his seasonal debut, but he hasn't quite gone on from that. He's been quite disappointing, I think, in 2 runs at Happy Valley. He might come back, he might bounce back, but we'll have to wait and see. And Winning Method ran well. He ran fairly well, I think, in the Panasonic Cup on his return. And I was a bit surprised that Lyle Hewitson didn't keep the ride. Or perhaps Matthew Chadwick, because Matthew Chadwick has ridden him to 3 of his 6 victories, which is quite an impressive stat. So I was quite surprised that Luke Curry was on board. And the other horse to consider, I thought King's Land. He was 75-1. He was a big surprise when he won, but he had some good horses behind, and the form was working out well because Beauty Tycoon was 3rd. He's won again, and also Victor the Winner made amends for his tardy start in the King's Land race. But for me, yes, Packing Treadmill. Zach Purton's been on board every run, and he still looks like there's improvement to come. And I think although he's drawn wide, I think he's good enough. He knows how to win from wide draws. It's all he ever gets.
Yes, right. So another wide draw for packing trade meal number 10 in race 10, but with our champion jockey, Zach Purton on board, he just knows how to overcome it. And I really agree that it is quite a tough race. I think the 14 runners are having quite equal chances here. But I will have my selection for number 11, Side Spirit. It is quite interesting to see that he will move back to 1400 meters, and actually he was unbeaten over this distance for two times earlier in last season. I know that it was in when he was racing in class 4 at that time, but this time class 2 different rivals. But recently he was not beaten far over class 2 races, especially last time out over 1800 meters. He was finishing fifth behind Running Glory, who will be racing in the class 1 on Sunday. And I just believe that last time 1800 meters was just too long for him. So moving back to 1400 meters, I'm expecting him to have some better performance. So number 11, Side Spirit for myself. And so to recap our selection in race 10, Joe goes for number 6, Chen Prince. Steve and Joshua agree with number 10, Packing Trade Mill, and I will go for number 11, Side Spirit. So that's all for our selection in the travel races. So let's talk about our best bet on Sunday at Charene. Joe, who will be your best bet?
My best bet's going to be in race number 5, and this is a really tough race considering who's in it. But going off of his last race out, I'm gonna go with number 12, Call Me Teddy. So this is a class 3. It's on the dirt, and there's some big horses that have won like winning ICs in this race and Midori Beauties in this race too. A lot of them that we thought that we're gonna have a great season. Fiery Diamond, who's won 2 in a row. Um, Call Me Teddy has been looking to break through ever since he's got to Hong Kong, and that was the closest that he's gotten, which was back on October 26th. I finally think he could break through in this race. I know he's draw number 8. He's been showing that he has really good all-weather form, but he just can't get over that hump. So he did have form back in the UK when he was there, uh, surprisingly on the turf. So it's going to be, but they tried him on the all-weather in his very last race before he went to Hong Kong. But this being a really tough race, I think that the value is not going to be within winning Icy and Midori Beauty. Winning Icy was the last being favorite. Midori Beauty just hasn't performed as well as we thought. But he has Zach Burton, so everybody could probably disregard that. But I'm going to go with Call Me Teddy here. I think this is going to be an interesting best bet to see what his odds are going to be in this race. And he's out of Uncle Moen, which is like one of our big sires back in America. So number 12, Call Me Teddy, race 5, my best bet in the class 3 race over the 1200.
Yes, that's interesting. So race 5 over the 1200 meters on the all-weather track. Number 12, Call Me Teddy. One of his biggest advantages will be he already had the experience over the dirt track in Hong Kong. Obviously, both Midori Beauty and Winning Icy, they will be first time racing over the all-weather track. We will see how they perform. But yes, number 12, Call Me Teddy, breaking from gates 8, I believe he can stay in a great position because he always jump well. And Steve, what about you? Who will be your best bet on Sunday?
Thought it was difficult finding a best bet on Sunday, and I went to race number 6. It's a class 4 over 1400 metres, and number 2, One Voice, ridden by Vincent Ho. He shed his maiden tag earlier this month. He beat Perfect Peach. Prior to that, he was second, beaten by Beauty Tycoon, which won in midweek at Happy Valley. I think the horse he has to fear most is Ching, who was desperately unlucky last time, and he would surely have won with a clear passage. He's got gate 1 this time, Ching, and if he doesn't win, he should confirm the superiority with Singapore Spirit, who was a place behind him in third. But for me, yes, One Voice, hopefully. He's gone up £5, looks open to improvement. This is only his 4th start. I think Vincent Ho's quite confident too, so hopefully he can continue. He knows how to win, so hopefully he can justify my best bet, One Voice.
Yes, definitely. A lightly race number 2, One Voice in race 6. I believe he's having quite a good chance for winning back to back because last time it was really impressive over 1400 meters again. And for Joshua, his best bet, sorry, Joshua's best bet will be race 8, number 11, Sweet Encounter that we just discussed earlier in our show. That will be the first leg of the treble. Sweet Encounter this time will be ridden by Zach Purton, breaking from a good draw, gate 5. So let's see how will he perform. And for my best bet, it will be in race 4. I quite like another horse ridden by Zach Purton. That will be number 4, Accelerando, because after turning 4-year-old in this season, he seems to be a different horse in terms of his appearance and his mind. He really improved a lot. So he just finished well over the course and distance recently, winning on his seasonal debut, causing an upset, and also last time winning third. It was not a quite unlucky last time because he needed some time to find a clear one in the home stretch. But once he settled, he was really good acceleration. And recently, he just had a good barrier trial at Chongfa on November 21st. So I believe that he's now fitter and really more mature than last season. So this time with Zach Purton on board, I believe he is able to overcome the wide draw. So to recap our best bets on Sunday, race 5, number 12, Call Me Teddy for Joe. Race 6, number 2, One Voice for Steve. Race 8, number 11, Sweet Encounter for Joshua. And race 4, number 4, Accelerando for myself. And if you are looking for some outsider, it is time for us to talk about our value bets. Joe, who will be your value bet?
Value bets back in race number 9. That's going to be number 8 Ariel with Keith Young. Yeah, I think the European experience coming from the from the UK to getting that race under his belt on the straight course. I think they were looking forward to seeing him how he does on the turns this time around. As what Charene mentioned, 1200 meters, cutting him back in trip, but I think that might help him out, even though he's had a lot of wins over the middle distances. But yeah, number 8 Ariel for me because he's drawn number 1. Sometimes these horses could not have any form in Hong Kong. They just have to get the right draw, and he drew 3 last time. If he draws 1, sometimes they just win. So, but you could probably take them each way because you're going up against Beauty Eternal and Super Capitalist. So, number 8 Ariel for me, my value bet on the card.
Yes, that's a really interesting runner. Race 9, number 8, Ariel. He will carry the Mr. Silk, and he was already owned by this big family when he was racing in UK, and then after bringing him to Hong Kong, I believe this big owner will have is also expecting Ariel to have some good performance in Hong Kong as well. And Steve, how about you? Who will be your value bet?
I went to race number 5. It's the second of the 2 dirt races, and that's number 8, Jolly Ruler. I tipped it on its seasonal reappearance. He was 4th. It was a good run. He was 3 lengths behind Superwind Dragon, and he's got a good strike rate on the all-weather. He's 50%. He's won 2 of his 4 races. I think he's a real natural on this surface. The one obvious setback is gate 11. It's not easy to win from out there, but it has been done. Man Star, for instance, in the race, won from gate 11 last time. And also, Jolly Ruler was very unlucky last season under Lyle Hewitson. He was breaking from gate 12 and with a clear run could well have gone very close that day. So I do like Jolly Ruler. It's a very open race, I think, though. You've got Hume Bowman takes over on Man Star and Purton rides Midori Beauty. And that's a very lightly raced horse, but it's never actually had a race on the all-weather, and it showed its greenness 2 back when it veered across the track, and Happy Sharing won. And last time it was 4th. So it's an interesting race. Winning Icy is a leading player, taking to the surface, and Fiery Diamonds 2 from 2 this season, but he's taking on stronger opposition this time. So hopefully, I think Jolly Ruler has got a fantastic chance of making the frame despite his wide draw in gate 11.
Yeah, so Jolly Ruler, which will be number 8 in race 5, we are going to have 2 all-weather races on Sunday. One of them will be race 3, and the other one is race 5. It is quite tricky because there are some good horses in the field. And Jolly Ruler, I think second up for him today, he will improve just like last season. When he first raced over the all-weather, it was quite okay, but he just win again on his second up over the all-weather track. And for myself, talking about my value bet will be in race 7. It will be the feature race for the day. The class 1 Chevalier Cup over 1600 meters. I will go for number 6, The Rock, because he already had two good runs earlier in this season over Happy Valley. I think for his seasonal appearance, racing over 1200 meters, obviously the distance was too short for him, so it is quite a good warm up for him. And it is good to see that last time out over 1650 at Happy Valley, he showed a good speed again. Usually he likes to lead till the end, and this time there is not a big field in the Class 1 Chevalier Cup. So I believe apart from Oz for St. Paul's, he will also, the Rock number 6 will be another leader in the field. So also maybe the pace will be not really fast, so it will be quite favorable for the leaders here. There are some good horses, including Excellent Proposal and also Butterfield, who will be racing in the HKIR next season. But both of them will be carrying the top weight, while the Rock this time carrying 124 pounds in a Class 1. All the horses, their ability are quite similar, but usually the weight will just have a big advantage for him. So this time ridden by Vincent Ho, I think he's also quite a good jockey for the horse. So my value bet will be race 7, number 6, The Rock. And for Joshua, I just forgot to mention his selection. His value bet will be in race 6. It will be a class 4 over 1400 meters. His selection will be number 10, Speedy Feifei, that will be ridden by Jerry Chow. He knows the horse well and breaking from gate 2, which will be also quite ideal for him. So to recap our value bets on Sunday, race 9, number 8, Ariel for Joe, race 5, number 8, Jolie Ruler for Steve, race 6, number 10, Speedy Feifei for Joshua, and race 7, number 6, The Rock for myself. So that's all for our tips on Sunday. Actually, we just covered 7 races from the 10 race card. We just leave the first 3 races for you to think about it. But if you want to know our selection as well, you can just follow us on Twitter or on our social media. So hopefully we can bring you some winner on Sunday. And thank you for watching. We will see you next time for the Happy Valley preview. Once again, thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.